What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another highly combustible interview. It's interview time, and today we have a very special guest, Timothy Ruff from the New Roses. Welcome to the channel.
Wow,
Did
thanks
I
for having me,
pronounce the
man.
name correctly? It's Ruff,
Yeah,
right?
Timmy Ruff. Yeah, it's just
Okay,
rough. Yeah.
perfect. Definitely. I'm glad you're here. We've done a reaction to one of the New Roses songs so far, but I've done my research. I did a little research on you last night. Tell me, for myself included, like I'm fairly new to this whole journey. Where's the best place to start? What do the new people to the New Roses need to know about the band?
We're doing it the very, very old-fashioned way. We started out 6 records ago, and we had no record deal. We were playing in bars and clubs, mainly for American soldiers. I had a cover band with the drummer, and we were just working our asses off and trying to learn as much as possible about rock music and the American spirit of rock music. And so we did what we could, and so every step until 6 records later, touring with Kiss and Scorpions, Joe Bonamassa, ZZ Top, Aerosmith, everybody, Foreigner, Kiss Cruise twice, played in Afghanistan. So we did a lot of stuff, but there are a million small steps between that, and yeah, we are very consistent, authentic band that does it the really like the oldest fashioned way that possible.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. It's Afghanistan. I was over there for. I just missed you guys because I was over there from 1998 till 2005, 2000 something. But
Okay.
very cool. So you guys have been already all over the damn place.
Yeah,
Uh,
we like I
I,
said, we've been around. Yeah.
I saw the note about Sons of Anarchy. Like, tell me about that
Yeah.
because that's like seriously one of my. That's like the show is my heart. I've seen it like 13 times.
Yeah,
How,
that was crazy for us because we didn't have a record deal at the time, and we just were in the studio. I remember participating in a stupid Burger King commercial with a huge cowboy hat singing a burger song just to make enough money to pay for the studio time. So I was doing everything to get this record done, and we just recorded almost the whole album, and then we had to split with the partner that we have, and we had to split contracts. So we were broke, no money, we had no record, we had nothing. So like I said, I played like a ridiculous cowboy in this ridiculous commercial, and just to make enough money for this record. And then we finished the record, and we wrote a song for a friend of mine that was stationed in Afghanistan at the time, and he was with the U.S. military. And then I wrote the song for him, and I didn't even thought about like releasing it or anything. So I just sent it to him to Afghanistan, said like, hey, I wrote a song for you, just to let you know that I care about you. So he said like, hey man, this is a great song, and you have to do something with that. And then I showed it to the guys, and then the guys decided, wow, we got to release this, we got to take this as the title track. And our manager at the time, he was really convinced by the song as well, and he had a friend at 20th Century Fox, and he heard through the grapevine that there was still a song missing, one last song missing on the soundtrack. So he sent that song right over, and yeah, we were waiting and waiting days and days because it had to be decided in America, and we were in Germany, and we never had contact to the United States all whatsoever. So we were very excited, and then we got the call late at night, said like, hey, yeah, it's going to be on the soundtrack. We're going to use the song. So we were the only band that is not from the U.S. That was on the soundtrack.
that's crazy. So it's on the American soundtrack too? Then
I guess so. Yeah, it was a season 1 to 4 soundtrack or whatever. So it's crazy.
We're definitely gonna have to check that one out because, oh my god, of all the things that could happen, from you're going through everything that you can possibly do to make this work, right at the bare in the nick of time. It seems it came up.
And you got to keep in mind, there's not so many TV shows out there that would fit to a like classic rock band, and that was the most southern we ever got with that song. It's the most southern rock song we ever got. So it was really crazy to write a song and then especially when people told you before, like, you will never go anywhere with this music, it's dead, it's rock and roll is dead, southern rock is dead, and even deader, so to say, because you're from Germany, nobody will believe you. So it was, for us, it was so cool. It wasn't the big breakthrough, but it was like a big marker, a milestone for us, like the confirmation that, hey, if you work hard enough, there will always be an opportunity to get a little further and get a little further. So it was a big, like, motivation booster for us, and a self-confidence booster for us to get to being told, like, you will never get anywhere, and then right away with the first self-made record, no record deal, no whatsoever, being featured in a very successful TV show. It was a very cool thing for us. Yeah,
it's definitely something that most people out there, especially all of the people that I know, the independent up and coming artists, just to get that one, like, hey, it's a foot in the door. It may not be launching us through the roof, but hey, it's a foot in the door. And especially here, I will tell you, we're very, very sheltered when it comes to worldly music. The only thing that we get shown is I've been listening to it with Mom, driving around in the car. You hear the same 20 songs played over and over and over and over again, and it's never somebody from outside of America. It's always what the music industry here wants to push. Yeah. So to be able to have that kind of a break in everything that you were doing, I could see it would probably be a huge thing. So I don't know. To me, I think it's one of those things where if it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen. Rock is definitely not dead.
Exactly. And I mean, like I said, it didn't matter to us, like, how successful it really was, So if for us, it just meant the world. It's just like, hey, there is a chance whatsoever. You just have to keep going and don't listen to anybody telling you, like, this will never work out, because we just got, like, the right amount of success to know that if we work hard enough, we can pull it off.
I think a lot of people can take a lot of value away from that in and of itself. There's so many people out there that are on the verge of, oh, this just isn't going to work. They're listening to the people that are telling them that they're never going to be something. And I've seen too many examples of people that do it.
Yeah. And after that, we were on the edge of quitting, and many times, because it didn't go on like this. It got harder and harder, and it was really tough at first. Nobody wanted to hire us. Nobody, at first it got a little better because everybody, booked us on those biker events and said, like, hey, you're the Sons of Anarchy band. We were the only band from not US, so all over Europe people were asking for their Harley Davidson events, like, we want the Sons of Anarchy band, but
that's freaking awesome.
Then you would show up and then they would ask you to play Smoke on the Water and Highway to Hell and all these, like, biker songs, Born to Be Wild and stuff like that. They said, like, no, actually we're going to play our own record. And then they were like, no. So it was a lot of confusion. We were kind of a name, but nobody wanted the whole package. So it was a back and forth, and we had to sacrifice a lot, and a lot of miles, a lot of, like, sleeping in the car, getting dressed in the van, and setting up your gear outside the venue because it was too small for setting up inside, and eating at gas stations and all those things, cheap hotel rooms. Like 4 people in a single bedroom and stuff like that, So it was a very challenging time at first, for the first 2 or 3 records.
Now things are taking off, yes.
We definitely have our own hotel rooms now.
hey, that's a stepping stone right there. That's a hey, goal accomplished. No more sharing the shower. Yeah, I like it.
No more getting dressed in the van. Single bedrooms every night. So what else do you want to what else can you ask for? I'm happy as long as I can sleep at night in my own room and I don't have to get changed in the rain.
Absolutely. A lot of people need to adopt your mindset. Take the small wins. Take the small wins. They're all going to equal up to the bigger. Well, what we've done, we've gone around to your fan base, my fan base, Instagram, everybody, and we've got some questions from some people. So we'll go through some of those, and you can,
Yeah, sure.
whenever if we run out of time, just tell me we're out of time, and that's where we'll stop it at.
No,
Otherwise,
no,
we'll
I'm
just
kind
keep
of.
going.
I think you're the last. Yeah, the last interview today. So
Okay.
I'm not in a hurry, man.
All right. Well, the first one I got from Ashton from my Discord says, "What does your creative process look like, and who inspired you to make music?"
Okay, so that's two different things. I was inspired, mainly by um, a German musician. My mom used to take me to his concerts, and he's very famous in Germany. And he's actually, like, financial wise, one of the most successful musicians to ever live.
Wow.
But you don't know him, but he wrote songs for Frank Sinatra and Earth, Wind and Fire, and he was like everywhere, and especially in the 50s and 60s, he wrote like world songs that were translated in 50 different languages. So every time he would go out on tour, my mom would take me, and he would travel. He was the only person I've ever seen who would travel with the band, a full orchestra, and a full big band, all
Oh
on the
my
same
God.
stage. So he would blend from pop music to rock music to like a string or symphony orchestra music to swing and big band music, and you would all hear this, and everybody was really great at their instruments. So very early on, I had a very, how do you say, like a big, very high baseline for quality of music, and I was really impressed by all those different styles. I loved the sound of a cello, and I loved the sound of a saxophone, and I loved the sound of a piano. But of course, I loved the sound of an electric guitar and a boogie woogie piano, and everything was during that show. You could see it, and I've seen it maybe 20, 25 times. So until my 21st birthday, until he died, I went to see him like at least one time a year, and so that was the starting point for me. Of course, then I discovered Elvis and the 50s, 60s rock and roll music very early on, and I loved Bill Haley and the Comets. I loved Jerry Lee Lewis, especially Little Richard, Elvis, all these guys. I loved it, like the 50s, like the real wild rock and roll stuff, especially when there's a dirty saxophone involved and stuff like that. And I really loved it. Hound Dog and Jailhouse Rock and Good Golly Miss Molly, Keep a Knockin', the Great Balls of Fire, all those songs. I loved it. I loved it. I still remember to the day how I jumped around on my bed and really got crazy. So that was the first first signs that I thought, like, okay, I'm a little different than other guys that other boys that like to listen to the Backstreet Boys that just came out at the time. I wasn't interested in that at all. I wasn't interested at all. So I knew right away, wow, music makes me very more like really aroused than other kids. I could really like focus on music for hours, and I could just sit in my room and listen to music without even playing an instrument. I was just so fascinated by the energy of the music. And then I would show it to my friends, and they were like, what the fuck, man? It sounds old.
They didn't have the same outlook. Like,
Yeah, not at all.
To this
So
classic
I knew back then, and so okay, there's something going on. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely something going on.
Very cool. And the second part of that was, what does your creative process look like? What does it take to write a New Roses song?
I learned over the years, the more I try to force it, the less I accomplish. So I have to force myself to do the counterintuitive, and distract myself. So when the writing process starts, all the other band members are always mad at me, because the first thing I do is I go mountain climbing, or I go whatever, So I do something that has nothing to do with songwriting. And
so instead of sitting down and forcing yourself to write, you just wait till you're inspired by something.
Yeah, I can't. So I kind of feel inside like now is the time to take the guitar and really write everything down. And until then, I just collect ideas, I collect emotion, I collect impressions, and I always carry a notebook around, and I write down like maybe like more that you would write a screenplay or something, So I write about a song. I write down like this song should be like a little somewhere in between Summer of '69 and I don't know, Thunder Road from Springsteen. So you got like an emotional frame that you want to be in, and then I always write down examples from other songs. Say like I want that emotion from there, and I want that groove of this song, and I love that. So I listen to a lot of music, and then I write down what I like about certain songs, and then I do nothing. Don't listen to music for a long time, and then I just don't do anything that has to do with music. So I go mountain climbing, I go whatever, canoeing, rafting, mountain biking, trail running. So I'm a lot of outdoors, and I do a lot of sports that really need your full attention, because otherwise you fall or you break something. So I do stuff that really take my 100% focus. And it's funny because when you do something that takes all your focus away from what you're supposed to do, and you finish that thing, you turn around and everything is there, like the job has been done by itself. So a lot of times when I get stuck, I distract myself totally and focus 100% on a difficult task that has nothing to do with writing. And then I don't know how, but like something starts working, and it works without my knowing, and then most of the times when I have a difficult problem, that's my approach, and I can solve the problem later.
That's freaking awesome. To just it boggles my mind, because I'm not a music guy myself. I can't play an instrument. Like sure, I can write down some lyrics, some poetry style lyrics, but to just be doing something and have my mind go, hey, you should write this down. Like I've never been in that mindset to where I even carried a notebook around. Like,
oh yeah,
maybe I should start.
Yeah, you should start, because for me the most important rule is you don't have to be good to start, but you have to start to be good. That's
a damn true statement right there, if I ever heard one.
There's no other way. So for me, it's more like, it's not a skill. I would say like the first thing you need to work on is your taste. You need to develop a very good taste for music, and you need to, from my perspective, you need to find like a filter that when you listen to a good song, that you kind of can dig to the core of the song and say, why is that song so good?
What makes it catch you like that?
What makes it so energetic? Like I said in an interview before, they were asking me like, how do you dare going on all those metal festivals and playing in front of metal audiences as the rock and roll band? And I told them, I said, if you listen to Little Richard records from the 50s, how wild and reckless they were. It has the same energy, maybe even more, I would claim, than those metal bands today, with all the gear and the speed and the double bass drumming. So it doesn't, if you get to the core of the song, that why is that song so wild? Why does it have so much energy? Why do I cry every time I hear that song? So if you develop that skill of that taste, and you see, it's the sound, it's the drums, it's the vocal line, wow, what a beautiful way to phrase this obvious thing. So there's so many songs about broken hearts from the 60s and soul music. It's like 9 out of 10 songs are about like being left, being brokenhearted. And still every great song of that time has a totally unique way of approaching the same topic. And if you get to that core and you find out like, wow, what a beautiful way to approach the same topic, and then you develop that taste. And if you have that taste, then you can start creating your own stuff, because you still have the same good taste that you developed over the other songs, and then you can decide for yourself, like, oh, okay, I got my bass line here, and I want to soothe that taste a little bit,
Yeah. I'll never truly understand people that say things like that. Like, oh, why would you bring that to? If you ask any of those bands that are on stage at that metal festival who their inspirations are, they're going to go back to the old rock and roll.
Sure. It was never a problem. So never ever we played a festival and people were like, oh no, too soft.
Yeah,
no.
If you got the essence, then you got it.
Yeah, exactly. If you got the taste, if you understand music, and if you bring that authenticity to the stage, and the self-confidence of, hey, what we're going to do now is awesome. just relax, enjoy the show. So you need to have that confidence. Of course, it's softer. Of course, you're confusing people when they just heard Slayer, and later on it's going to be, I don't know, Napalm Death or whatever, and did you play in the middle or something?
Yeah.
So of course they look at like, what is this? But then when they see, man, they like what they do. They know what they do, and they have that energy. Like I said, Little Richard could play on a metal festival and still have the same energy. I'm 100% sure.
Oh, I believe it. The crowd would
Yeah.
definitely accept it.
Yes.
Let's see. Suzette from the Discord says, "What you might have already answered this with the cowboy hat answer, but what's the craziest thing you've ever done to get attention for your music?"
Yeah, the cowboy hat thing was definitely not like featuring me as an artist. So that was like a real undercover thing to do to play to raise some money for that record that we were playing. So it was very embarrassing, and we did everything we could back then. So, and I, like as you hear me today, I'm not embarrassed by it at all. We did what was necessary and what we had to do, and we did so many things. We played all those shows behind the curtain. We do in weddings, we do in garage festivals. We would play at people's birthday bashes, and barbecues. We would show up everywhere just to, we would like try to convince every person by person to listen to our songs. So we would like really go on birthday parties with 12 people, and then we would play Sweet Home Alabama, and then we would say, hey, can we play your own song? And we got some CDs in the trunk, so maybe
Yeah, hey, you really were out there grinding. Like that's the definition.
Yeah, so it wasn't really like crazy stuff. Maybe I can't remember the craziest thing because there were so many crazy things, but it definitely was just working hard every night and playing in ridiculous places.
That leads us to our next question, actually. Andres from Facebook says, "What were the most weird locations that you've ever played?"
They were weird in a good way, which is definitely Afghanistan and the Kiss Cruise. Totally different locations, obviously, but those were weird. We played in the Bahamas, we played in Afghanistan. Very unique places to play. In Afghanistan, we played in the back of a military transportation truck. And we played. They built a stage out of like car wrecks, and stuff. So we in the middle of the desert, and it was crazy, because they had so much fun, and they of course had this rule where they were not allowed to drink during our show. Of course it could be fight, alarm all the time. So they had like this, I don't know, 1.5 beer rule, something crazy. So everybody was allowed to drink 1.5 beers. And but still they were freaking out that like they were totally drunk, but they were like high on excitement, because they haven't seen any other people like themselves for months. And they were really happy that some people would come over and respect and pay their respects and give them some distraction, some entertainment. And it was a very, very crazy time. I got to drive a tank, and I wore night visions all night, and I was wandering around the camp. So it was a lot of fun and a lot of cool stuff going on. But of course, it was still very serious, and you got serious impressions of what was going on. So it was, we weren't taking the piss out of that whole situation. Of course, we were excited to be there and see the equipment and everything, but of course, it was a very serious matter, and we took it very serious. So that was weird in a very like informing, exciting way. And but of course, we played so many, especially UK, the first UK tours we did. There are bars in Germany you wouldn't never allowed to open or sell drinks there. There's mold everywhere. We played one night, man. We played in a bar, and they had this apartment saying, you can sleep in the apartment before you head on to the next show the next day. And we came into the apartment, and there was an ongoing, how do you call it, like a water damage. It was ongoing.
Oh, no.
So they knew about it, but they didn't do anything about it. They just let us in. So it was an ongoing war. There was water coming through the ceiling, and it was going on for months, I guess, because there was mold like everywhere, and they had this big ass like drying heater machine in the bedroom. There was like really, and so we were like, what
How
the
do you
fuck?
even put somebody in that room?
And then I wanted to take a shower, and I couldn't even. I will never forget. Like I tried to touch the shower, and it was so moldy and itchy and sticky. It was so ugly. So we ended up. I remember to the day. It's years and years back. We were like everybody, because it was in the winter time, and they have no heater there, for the bands. So we were sitting in that small living room that was the least damaged.
It was still damaged, but it was the least damaged.
So around the table, and everybody's wearing their winter coats, and we were like trying not to fall asleep, because everybody was afraid that they would touch something really ugly. So we would like, shield each other, and then we were sitting there, and we would try to get like some shut eye for maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. And when the first like sunbeam like made its way through the window, we're like, okay, we're good to go. Let's drive on to the go. Yeah, let's get out of here. So a lot of crazy stuff, but we played crazy festivals, good festivals, smallest clubs, biggest stages. So we're very, very in a very happy place that we got to see the whole spectrum of shittiness until greatness.
What I gotta tell you about the Afghanistan thing, like we don't often get a time. Like I said, I was over there for 6.5 years straight as a contractor with the Marine Corps, and that was after serving in the Marine Corps myself. People don't realize what it means, and we never get a chance to actually tell the artists what it means to people over there. These people are like legitimately, for everybody out there that doesn't know, they're seeing hell. It's not this romanticized shit that you see on the TV. And like for an artist to say, you know what, I'm going to brave this war to show up to perform for the troops. That's like that's the biggest morale boost you could ever give somebody over there, because they actually do get that moment to just kind of be free and kind of ease up off of the total security mindset that you're always in. I saw Toby Keith over there. I saw a whole bunch of great people over there for the USO shows, and it's just like it's a whole different kind of audience that you're not going to find anywhere else in the world.
Of course, and especially for the German Bundeswehr, we don't actually have a thing like the USO, so it's we don't have like an entertainment department for the troops, so it's way more under the radar to connect to our German military than it is for America.
It was a lot more difficult.
So it's not super difficult, but it was like not obvious at all. So it's not a thing. It's not a thing as it is in the US, But it was cool, especially like to see that military from all over the world, they didn't know who we were, they were just as excited as everybody who knew who we were,
Yeah.
So they were just, you could see it's like, fuck, finally something is happening, because the campus it's big, but it's not big if you've spent 8 months there, So and everything looks the same, it's just container after container and sand and mosquitoes and sandbugs and all the shitty, air-conditioned, small air-conditioned, super cool rooms, and then super hot outside. So it's not a very friendly, nice place to be. And then you have to deal with the threats and the whole dangerous situation. So yeah, definitely it's good for the brain to get some distraction, some entertainment every once in a while.
I'm sure it's one that you guys will definitely never forget. I think you're the first person that we've talked to that actually was in Afghanistan, played in Afghanistan. I think it's very, very a noble place to play. Like most people here, in the middle of a war zone, I don't even want to go there. And you guys up and went.
Yeah,
like,
it was frightening. I wouldn't deny that. So it was frightening at times, but totally worth it. I would totally do it again.
Absolutely. Natasha from Facebook says, if someone covers one of your songs, who would your favorite candidate be and why?
That's a great question. It's a
Said
good
it
question.
doesn't matter which decade or whether the band is still active or not. Just anybody that you could choose to cover your song.
You know, when I write songs, I have to admit sometimes I really imagine other bands playing the song so I can get in the right like groove in the mood. And of course, songwriting wise, I'm a big Bryan Adams fan because I think he's a genius when it comes down to writing songs and keeping it simple, you know.
Simple but impactful. Bryan Adams is
Impactful,
definitely up there on my list.
You're right. So it's, you know, he's like, to me, he's like a modern day. If I would go backwards, you know, I would say Bryan Adams is one of those, and then one step further is John Fogerty, you know, and then you would go one step back and you would say Hank Williams, saying like songwriting wise, so many simple songs that you would never forget after you hear them one time. So songwriting wise, if it would be for me as a rock artist, songwriting artist, it would be the biggest honor if some of these greatest songwriters to ever live in rock music would pick a song and say like, "Hey, I like that song. I want to play that one." You know. So that's songwriting wise. Of course, I always loved the style of Leonard Skinner, and I would love to hear them do. For example, like we have a new song coming up from the new record called Natural Born Vagabonds, and I always try to, you know, write those songs. One More for the Road is one of those songs, Glory Road. So we got a lot, all those road songs. I'm always very inspired by Leonard Skinner, and I would love, you know, to finally hear it from them. And especially like Johnny Van Zandt, who followed up Ronnie's footsteps. He's such a great singer, and he's very, very big influence on me vocal wise. And of course, I would love to hear him sing one of my songs, you know. And yeah, a lot of obvious shit. You know, you wouldn't say no if Led Zeppelin wants to cover your song or the Stones.
No, you definitely wouldn't. You wouldn't say
no, not agreed. So yeah, but Leonard Skinner and definitely like John Fogerty or something, like picking one of your songs because they say like, hey, you know, I'm one of the greatest songwriters, but hey, I like this one too. It's a big honor, yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Let's see. Mario from Facebook says Timmy has already contributed with his vocals on Losing Gravity.
Yes.
With whom can you imagine singing a song? Like, who would you like to? Any of those people that he just mentioned?
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, like John Fogerty has a great record called "Wrote a Song for Everyone," where he's like inviting friends and stuff, and I couldn't listen to it for a month because I was so jealous, you know, because it sounded so good and the songs are so great and the whole thing is so amazing. So I was really sad to be so far away from participating in such a great piece. So like John Fogerty like is a great musician and a great songwriter. So definitely I just love him. But I try to name different people than I just named. I would love to sing. With country artists, I really love that. I just recently heard that the guy from Papa Roach did a duet with Carrie Underwood. So I would be super interested in doing one of those things. Like really,
that would be cool, like an
crossover kind of thing. I always like those kind of things. And there's a lot of.
So you do listen to country music too?
That's pretty much all I listen to when I'm alone. So I love smaller bands like Reckless Kelly, Mickey and the Motorcars, and all those. I really love those Texas bands with that dusty road sound. I really like that, and I like a lot of like country music. Not so the super duper modern stuff with the hip hop.
Yeah,
that's not really my thing. But I just saw it.
German country.
Yeah, I just saw in Germany they have a thing called Sound of Nashville. And they bring American country bands over, and they do like a small festival, and there's like 500 people showing up, but actually like they're great bands. And the headlining band was was a band from Alabama called the Red Clay Strays. I don't know if you know them. And
I have not heard them.
Oh yeah, you should check them out. Great singer, great band, good songwriting. and I would definitely I heard about them just a couple of weeks before, and I was very excited on short notice when I heard that they were coming to Germany. So actually, I wrote them an email the day I went to the festival and asked them like, hey, I'm Timmy Ruff, New Roses, blah blah blah. So if you find the time, I would love to join you on stage and do a song with you. But they didn't get the message. They replied after they left the to the next city, to London or whatever. So the next day they're like, damn it, we would love to we would have
well,
loved
hey,
to
at least if they ever come back.
yeah, definitely. So that's a true story of like I would have been really really excited to participate in somebody else's stage performance.
That's freaking awesome. Let's see. Thorsten from Facebook says, are you planning on releasing a live album or a complete live video of a concert?
We've been planning this for many years now, but every time, it gets like it gets delayed for I don't know, several reasons. So we never found the right tour, the right shirt, the right equipment, the right way to record. And but it's something that we take very seriously. If we want to do it, we really want to do it well. We don't just want to press record and then throw out some bootleg kind of half-hearted show cut.
Yeah, no, you want it to be ran through all of the right
real thing, we wanted to do it really properly. So yeah, it might take some time, but we will definitely do it.
Quality over quantity, people.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. Oliver from Facebook says, where can I apply with my band if I want to be your support act?
On our website, there's an email link called, I don't know, info at the New Roses or whatever. And you can just apply there. And you should do it now for our next record, because it's something that bands do very early on. So, yeah, it's nothing that you...
It's not a spur of the moment decision.
Like,
we need to right now. No, it's got to be planned out.
So yeah, definitely, and you should really put effort into it. So we get like, I don't know, like countless applications for that, and those slots are very, very wanted.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Because they're
limited space and
because they're not so
amount of people
out there. And I remember the time how valuable those slots were for us to spread the word, for our band. So, and it's really important to put effort in it and apply with a good package, with a good video, with a good recording, and everything in one package with good pictures and stuff. So if you just write an email and say, hey, we're this and this band, you could check out on website, or maybe if you want, I could send you something. Nobody, there's millions.
Be confident. Send that in.
You need the whole package right away, saying that this is what it looks like, and this is what we can offer and stuff like that. And very important is that you are nice people. It's almost important as to be a good band, because nobody wants to travel because traveling is very hard and very demanding. Nobody wants to hire or invite a pain in the ass on top of the stress that you have already. So you should definitely make a very friendly and easy to handle impression on your application. That's the tips I could give you for if you want to be opening up for any kind of band.
I do like that you didn't say it's not gonna happen. There's a lot of bands out there that are like, hey, that's not possible. So I like that there is a chance, as long as you're the right person bringing the right package.
Yeah, definitely. And we did it many times, that we picked a band that applied. Like the question before that was Losing Gravity, and we ended up liking them so much that I actually recorded a duet with them. So, and we had no connection to them whatsoever. So they were just saying, hey, we got this band, and we were like, oh wow, it's a good vibe, it's good songs, and they seem to be nice people, and we want to give them a shot. So you give them a shot for 1 or 2 shows, not on that tour, maybe on some festival or some whatever show. And if you see like, okay, they perform well, our audience receive them well, they're very nice, easy to handle, nice guys, blah blah blah, then you give them a shot, and then you take them for the whole tour, and then you see like how the audience grows and how people you spread the word for them. So it's maybe the best tool you can still have as a rock artist, rock band. So you should definitely take this very seriously to apply in the right way.
Hey, it's good information. There you go, Thorsten. Oliver from Facebook says, where? No, that was Oliver. Oliver, that's him. Tom from Facebook says, when will the album with the city songs be released?
So for those who don't know, we had this crazy idea, and it turned out to be like super challenging for me. I think it was the Nothing But Wild tour. I don't even think it was the Sweet Poison tour. It was the Nothing But Wild tour that I started more for my own entertainment to play different songs, because I had an acoustic slot every show, like where you play one acoustic song, just me. So it came to my head, so like if you play all on your own, you actually can play whatever the fuck you want, you know. So
That's true.
So I started doing those things, and the idea was born in some town called Nuremberg, and our opening act didn't show up because of traffic or whatever. They had the car damage or whatever, couldn't show up. So the audience was there, place was packed, and so the main promoter from the event, they said, but you can't just start now, because people are still coming in and they're expecting you to start at whatever 9 o'clock. But we don't want to let them wait for, I don't know, another hour. So what I decided to do, or what we decided to do, was I just take my acoustic guitar and I put my head on back and just walk out there and just did what we did. Do what we did back then, you know, when we started playing. So I just came out on stage and was like, "Sir, what do you want to hear?" And he was like, "Play Journey." And I would go and jam Don't Stop Believing, and then he would just play some Skinner, and I would go Simple Man. And so I did that for 40 minutes or something, and of course the crowd was going crazy. You know, it was so easy, and it was so relaxed, and it was so unexpected, and everybody enjoyed it so much that after that I used that acoustic slot to play one of those songs that I played there, you know, and the people really loved it. And it turned out they called it, like the fans, the audience, they started calling it city songs, because I played one song every night, a different song that I never played on the New Roses stage before. So what I wasn't calculating properly was that the tour was, I don't know, 35 or 40 more shows or something. So I ended up like every night I was like, what can you play tonight? You know, that still fits and still, you know, is as great as the night before, you know. And so I got a lot of help from the band members, and we would sit down and you know, brainstorm and pick a song for the night. And I would always like during dinner, I would decide which song I would play that night, you know, and I would sit backstage and take the guitar and practice it for 15 minutes. And I would just like go out and wing it, you know. And that atmosphere was really cool, because it was never perfect. The audience always had the feeling like, okay, this is really special. It's not like a calculated thing. He really like just decided during dinner what he's gonna play. And sometimes it's funny because I don't know the lyrics or something, and forgets the chord or something. So people really liked it so much that he's not the first one to ask if we would ever do like a collected city song version. Maybe we do it once. Maybe I would sit down, because still there's they recorded it, I guess, on YouTube, like our fan club, and put it up on their website. So they're all documented. So I can still find out which songs I played, and maybe someday I'll sit down and do one session with an acoustic guitar and a microphone, and I play them all live, and then, you know, I don't know, you can download them for free or whatever. Let's see, but it's a good idea actually. Oliver, yeah, Great,
That
great.
kind of leads us into the next question anyway. You playing on just the acoustic. Steffi from Facebook wants to know if can you imagine playing an entire unplugged concert or tour?
Oh, we did that a couple of times. So not a tour, but the concerts. We did radio unplugged shows.
Okay.
There was a broadcasting show that was broadcast on the radio. We did an acoustic show when we released our Sweet Poison record. We did a small acoustic show there, and like I said, I grew up as a musician playing acoustic, so I did like 4 hour shifts in Irish pubs and in bars, 3 4 times a week. So I will never get out of shape when it comes down to playing acoustic. So you can, I think, still in 30 years, you could just give me an acoustic guitar and just play for 3 hours, and I will definitely remember all those songs. So playing acoustic is something that is very familiar to me. Is maybe more than to the other band members, but it's always been a big part of me. And I write all the songs on the acoustic. Like 90% of the songs I write for the New Roses are written on the acoustic guitar. So there's always an acoustic version before there's a band version, actually, you know.
Yeah, very, very cool. I think that anybody that does any kind of music, when you do unplugged, it just adds something else to it. I don't know, it gives you a whole different feeling. So I'm a fan of acoustic guitar. I can't play a guitar to save my life, but I like the way it sounds.
You know, I would actually argue if it's about adding something or like cutting away. It's stripping away the distractions and get to the core of the song, and then you realize, wow, this is actually a really great song. You know,
That
for
makes sense.
example, Ryan Adams Unplugged or Kiss Unplugged um, are some very very impressive unplugged records, especially the Kiss record, because I've never been like a huge Kiss fan because of all the distractions. I like it.
There's a lot of noise in a lot
There's
of
a
our
lot of
music over here.
which I learned to appreciate and respect and love over the time we've been on tour with them. I saw it in a whole different light. But before that, I was always like, it's too much makeup, it's too much high heels, it's too much fire
Over
and
the
stuff.
top.
It's just not my thing. I totally appreciate it, and I respect what they've done to rock music, no doubt about it. But it was, to me, just a little too theatrical. I was more a Springsteen kind of guy, you know.
Yeah, you're
But
more about let's the music,
yeah,
not the makeup. Like
but from my perspective, then when you come from Springsteen and stuff like that, and then I heard the Kiss Unplugged record, and you see like, wow, they actually play good, they sing really good, and the songs are actually well written and well done. So yeah, it was a very impressive unplugged record for me, the Kiss record. And my favorite unplugged record still is, I think, Bryan Adams, the way he arranged the songs with that more kind of northern English Celtic kind of vibe. It was just amazing, mind-blowing record.
very cool. Caro from Facebook says, there's a little paragraph. I'm gonna read it to you first, then you can answer the question. It says, I tend to have questions that you're not allowed to ask, but I'll give it a try. You seem to be on tour all the time, writing songs, rehearsing, family, everyday life. How does that work? She said, I was once in a relationship with a musician. Well, I was 18 at the time, and he was more into producing in the basement of our house. But even that was intense. He also played live, albeit in Berlin, so close to home. Okay, I forgot my question. So the question was, how do you make it all work? How do you manage it all? Like the rehearsing, the family, the everyday, just normal things that normal people do.
You know, first of all, it's nothing that happened overnight, you know. So it was not like you had a regular job and you did what you did, and then all of a sudden everything changed and you were
Yeah.
thrown into this new life and you had to recalibrate everything and find the new direction. So I always knew I wanted to be a musician. All my friends and family always knew, you know, this is the way he will go, one way or the other. But this is going to happen. So you know, I never had a regular job. I never had a boss, so to say. You know, I worked a lot of like day-to-day jobs, and I had shitty bosses. You know, I delivered drinks. I worked on constructions. I was doing like, you know, Charles Bukowski, the
Mm.
writer. He's a novel writer, like
I've not
really.
heard of him.
He's one of America's greatest writers. He writes a lot about like bums, working, like trying to survive on the streets.
Okay.
And a lot of he's a poet, really, but he was a bum himself. So great writer. You should check him out. He has a very like vulgar language, but it's still poetic. So it's very great. So he writes a lot about like working night shifts in factories and cutting your hands on the newspapers while delivering. And so this is shit I
I
used
bet
to
that
do.
one.
Yeah. See. So I did that right while dreaming of becoming a professional musician. I was always working on the band, but I did night shifts and stuff like that. I used to drive cars and deliver and work like on constructions, and I was like carrying like concrete bags and shit like that. So I was I was working hard and trying to make the band work, but this is how I lived all my life, So it's nothing new, and it's nothing that changed overnight. So you could adjust to the more successful the band got. You could adjust really slowly and wisely to it, because it didn't
Instead
have.
of just being thrown in there and now,
Yeah,
oh
yeah. So
shit, what do
I'm
I
not
do?
jealous. You like there's this band called Jet. You remember them? Are You Gonna Be
Yes.
My Girl? It was a big hit, and I was the lead singer. I became friends with for a while, and I met him in Berlin, and I was like, man, I'm so jealous. You did your first tour ever with the Rolling Stones. Like the first record was this big record with all these hits, and he was like, I wouldn't be so easy on this claim to be jealous for an overnight success. It's a very tough thing, especially the expectations after that,
Yeah, that's
and
a lot
what
of
it does.
responsibility. Now I got to live
Yeah,
up to this.
yeah, and everybody wants a piece of your shit, and everybody wants you to make money and more money, and they throw money at you, but they want more back, and so after a couple of talks with him, uh, I wasn't jealous at all, and I was really actually appreciating our way even more than I already did. Saying like, "Hey, what we do it step by step, so you can really adjust and uh, um, acclimatize to new situations, and you choose your friends wisely,
Yeah.
you know so you got a lot of buddies, but over the years they come and go, and you have like maybe I have one or two like real friends that one lives in America
Hmm.
anyway, and I see him twice a year for 2 weeks, and it's all we need. So we have that plan, if when we retire, to buy a house together, and then see each other every day. So but it's you pick your friends wisely, you pick your spouse or whatever wisely, and what I've learned is when you spend time with anybody that you care about, show them you care, and then it doesn't matter, like you said before, it's quality over quantity, so
Yeah.
you can, sometimes I have good friends, like I said, with my very best friend. He's my best friend for almost, I don't know, 22, 23 years. So and I'm not even 40, so he's there for most of my life, so and we see each other for the last couple of years. We've been seeing each other for like twice a year, so maybe 3-4 weeks a year we spend together, and but still it's a friendship that I think goes beyond most of what you see with people that hang out every weekend and go get shit
Hmm.
faced, whatever. So it's about making good choices, who you give your time to, and people that, it's very important that you surround yourself with people that believe in you and that they want you to go out and play.
Yep. I
They
say it
want
all the time.
you to,
Surround yourself with people that want to see you succeed.
yes, exactly. If you
Because then
get,
when you do, they're proud.
yes, exactly. So it's always like, for example, my best friend and me, we always talk we. So how did we do tonight? he he works for the government. He was a soldier for many years, so he could have been in Afghanistan. It's the one I wrote the song for that the Son of Anarchy song.
Mhm.
So he could be in Afghanistan or something, and I could play a show in Berlin, and and I would text him like, "How did we do on the battlefield today?" And he would write me back, "How did we do on the stage today?" So it's always us. It's always like a team spirit. It's never me and never you. So it's always we. And if he was successful with something, when I finished my first ultra marathon, I was so proud of us because he was with me during training, and he will always give me good advice and stuff like that. So it's very important to realize when you find a real friend for life and never let go and always be there no matter what and show them you care. And then you have one or two, if you're lucky, in your life that stay, and it's all you need. You don't need 25
Yeah,
fucking friends,
it's
So-
very similar to my military friends and I. We might not talk for a whole year, but
Yeah.
we know that at the second that somebody sent a message and needed us, we will be right there. Like,
Yeah, actually, sir, I learned that because all of my friends back then when I started playing, he was based in Wiesbaden, and I was so fascinated by the whole thing, like because he had the records that I would never hear in Germany. He had Jason Aldean records that nobody. He was a newbie in America at the time, but in Germany, it was no way you would know about Jason Aldean. I didn't even know about John Mellencamp or Garth Brooks in Germany. It was not a big thing here. So he would have all those records. So I would hang out with him all the time. So I for more than 5 or 6 years, all my free time I spent with American soldiers on that post. So I really learned not only about music, I learned about that kind of bond they share and how they maintain their friendships, how they stay in contact with their families because they don't see their children, newborn children for 9 months, or little kids that go to school
Yep.
for 9 months. So and I would witness it all the time that when they're on Skype, when they're on the phone, it's so intensive, like that bond they have. It's so loving and caring. Sometimes it was that I would say like, wow, I'm not sure if I see this in my inner like environment at home where parents come home after work every night to see their kids and they don't share that bond. So
Yeah.
for me, it was very early on. It was a sign like everything is possible when you make it happen. If you just show how much you care, you can still pull everything off, anything off, and still maintain good and deep relationships with people without like being home every night.
Absolutely. It's totally true. That's the things that we deal with while we're over there on deployment too. You're away for so long that you have to find a way to bridge that gap.
Exactly. And when you have to find a way, you'll find a way.
Yep. Let's see. Claudia from Facebook kind of answered the which band would you like to play live with before, but she says, which song from the new album is your favorite? Asks Johanna, the youngest fan in Hroditz. I know I mispronounced that.
My favorite is definitely Natural Born Vagabonds.
That's the favorite. That was a quick answer, so it's real.
It's the closest to my. I love it when a song it catches me the most. Not even when I write, so when I listen to it, when it has like I would say like a fragile emotional pathway to a strong muscle. So what I mean by that is sometimes you like to hear just a party song that is like very shallow. It's just like I want to rock and roll all night, party every day.
Just a vibe.
Sometimes is exactly what you want, but it doesn't make you like wonder or it doesn't. You know what I mean?
You don't walk away fully satisfied. That's for sure.
Yeah, for in several moods. So it's a very song for a special mood. The same is on the other side. Sometimes you want to hear like the saddest song in the world. And and that makes you really sad and it makes you cry, and this is sometimes exactly what you need. But
Yeah.
I love songs. I really admire songs that have that fragility. Is that a word? Fragility?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Like a fragile, like like a fragile structure, but it comes from a like a muscle. Like you hear, there's power, there's like experience, there's like a badass attitude baseline there, you know. So strong people showing their emotions, not like whiny, whiny little cowards showing their cowardly emotions, and not like badass guys showing how badass they are. So I really
watch
love
me.
it.
I'm not gonna cry.
Yeah, I got no emotions. I got no feeling. So I really love when strong. That's why I love "Simple Man," for example. It's one of the greatest songs ever written because
I agree with you there.
it comes from a very rough, tough. I have a lot of life experience. I'm a hardworking man. I've seen a lot in my life, and I've been through a lot, and I've stood my ground. But still, this is what I tell my little boy. It's time to show emotions. Time to fall. I hope you fall in love. I hope you do this, and I wish you the best. So I love that. I love Soulshine from the Allman Brothers. Maybe my all-time favorite song, because you hear it from a man that has experienced everything, the highest and the lowest. He's been married, he's been left, he's been brokenhearted, he's been very successful, he's been sober, he's been, addicted. And then he sings that song, about like when you can't find the light, and stuff like that. So hearing strong people singing about their struggles and singing about their vulnerabilities is something to me that creates a world that I couldn't appreciate more. So sometimes I try that. I never go too deep into that because it's not the thing that the New Roses are built to do, and not everybody feels comfortable with that. But I try it, every once in a while. Songs like "One More for the Road" or "Glory Road," and now "Natural Born Vagabonds." It's always those songs where they come from a strong experience, from a hardworking. If they were written by hardworking, calloused hands, so to say, but still they show emotion and say like, "Hey, we're just people. We have bad dreams. We miss home. We do all this, but then we go out and then we stand our ground." So I love when those things come together. Vulnerability and like a musical muscle, so to say. I love that.
It makes complete sense to me. It took me. I used to be that guy. I don't cry in front of nobody.
Yeah.
And then it was music that actually unlocked all of my emotions. When we started the channel, people were requesting things, and I was just like, "You can't not cry to this. It doesn't matter how hard you are." I respect vulnerability.
Songs, yeah, there are certain songs out there. You turn them on, and I guarantee I cry. No matter where, what.
No matter how many times I've heard it, either I can hear it 1,000 times. It's still gonna get me.
There's nothing you can do. They could pay me, like, say, I give you $1 million. Just listen to the song and don't cry.
Yeah, no million for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. Ryan Hold from Facebook says, we might have already talked about that. How did you come up with the genius idea of an unplugged bonbon at the concerts? I'm assuming that he's referring to
the city songs kind of thing.
The city songs. So we discussed that. Let's see. I remember the concert in Esslingen.
Okay.
Where I saw it for the first time at the tour with Molly Hatchet, Rofa Ludwigsburg. There was a shorter set as support. You were convincing though.
Yeah, 2010 we're talking about. Wow.
That's a way back. Goodness.
That was our first tour, yeah.
So you've been doing the city songs for a minute then?
No, we didn't do city songs back then. No. We did it first time on the 2019 or something. So
okay, so then that just must have been the first time that he saw you at a
concert. Yeah. Definitely no city song there now.
Cloud from Facebook. I don't know. That doesn't. Oh, do you have any certain rituals before your gigs?
Yeah, everybody has their own kind of stuff. I think Urban, he kind of takes a nap. Right before
that sounds like me.
Yeah, he's like 3 minutes for the show. He can still nap. I could never do this. So of course, Norman and Norman. I think Norman smokes like half a pack of cigarettes before the show, and
I
whatever he
guess
does,
whatever calms you down. Like,
yeah, whatever. Izzy always plays guitar and warms up and stuff. And I warm up. I have this, how do you call it, like a rubber tube that I blow air into, and then underwater, and then it kind of massages your vocal cords, and it's
I've
very
heard of this before.
looks
Breaks
super
anything up
stupid,
that's
but
in there.
very effective. It's very cool. I really love that. And what I actually start doing for a while now, which works really great for me, is I watch or listen to comedy, stand-up comedy, right before I go on stage. So I watch Dave Chappelle
That's
perform.
a long workout. Laughing your ass off. That's a long workout too. That gets you ready.
Exactly, and you get kind of, you get in such a positive mindset, and when you go out, you see everything playful because it's not like a serious thing anymore. So I
It's
really
like
love.
getting a hit of dopamine before you go on the stage. I
Yeah,
like it.
everything changes. You get like a whole different mood. It's like everything is just fun, and your job is to make people happy, and it's really cool. It's really does something to me, and I really enjoy it. I do it, like I've been doing it for months now, and I really love it, especially like great comedians. They all come from America. I don't know why, or at least
I don't know about all of them.
couple of them from the UK, but I don't know any German comedian that makes me laugh. I don't know why. Maybe it's just not my style of humor. But I'm a big fan, of course, of Dave
It's
Chappelle.
probably because they always sound angry when they're talking.
Not to me though. I love Bill Burr. I love Dave Chappelle. There's this new kid called Matt Rife. I really love him. It's really cool.
Matt Rife is like the king of crowd work, man.
I love that. And I love to see crowd work right before the show because it puts you in that playful mood. It's like, you just don't give a fuck. Just wing it. Just, involve people. Just, so that's why I do it. I really love to get myself into that positive, playful mindset before I go on stage.
So I think the second part of Cloud's question was also answered in that, would you guys doing all of your different things? But it said, what does the last 30 minutes look like before going on stage?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's just you guys getting ready and psyching yourselves up a little bit.
Yes.
Bianca says, what were the best memories after your gigs? Like, what is the best place that you had like the most fun after it was over?
This is one question, I cannot answer like with full honesty because
well, you've been doing it forever.
yeah. So we've been to great places after the show. We've been to we got like super nice invitations after the show to the weirdest parties, and especially in big cities like Berlin, you can always end up on the crazy. So I won't talk about like the real rock star kind of stuff, but I can give you a little story that
probably wouldn't be safe for YouTube anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to get anybody in trouble. So but there's one particular show. We finished the show in Paris one night, and we finished pretty early. So we had some time left on our hands, and I would walk around the city, and I would walk up those countless stairs to the Sacred Heart Cathedral. Is on the mountain in Paris and somewhere, and there was like I don't know, how do you call it, like a ritual kind of thing going on, like a very old Christian ritual with the big choir and everything, and they lit up the whole chapel and everything. And I'm not a very like religious guy or anything, but it was so impressive. Like, you come from the stage and you're in the middle of the attention, the center of the attention, and then you just put your jacket on, and I was still sweaty and stuff, and you walk out of the crowd and you dive into another crowd where you don't mean anything. Nobody realizes who you are, what you just did, and you just dive in. And then I was like carried in, like I was just following the noise and the lights, and there was all these stairs, countless stairs on top of the hill, and there was this cathedral, and they had all these candles, and everything was lit up, and there were like hundreds of people, and actually there was a big line waiting to get in, but somehow I was like I don't know. I wasn't even trying to get in, but somehow I found myself inside that chapel, and I would sit down and I would listen to those choirs and that piano music, and that they had a cello, and they would play, and it was so beautiful. Like, even if you're not big believer kind of guy, it was
I say it all the time. It doesn't matter if you believe or not. Good music is good music. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was so peaceful, and the sound in that cathedral, and it was cool in there, and it was so peaceful. I remember it till the day. It's been years now, but I remember it very well, sitting down there and feeling my heart rate going down from that show, and feeling the cool air from the chapel coming into my like clothes and cooling me off after the show. It was such an amazing feeling. So I would definitely put that on my top 3 places that I've ever been right after a show.
That's freaking awesome. It must be nice to walk out of a show after all the chaos and just disappear into the crowd.
It was I love it. It's amazing.
That's awesome. Let's see. Vanessa says, if you would write a new song about a historical moment in history, which moment would it be, and why would you choose it?
Wow.
People coming up with some good questions.
Yeah, this is deep stuff. So I actually, I wrote a song once that kind of sums up a lot of American history. Maybe I will release it someday. It's one of my favorite songs, but it was too historical to be released for the New Roses. And it was like, because I'm a big cowboy movie fan. I love all those old Westerns. My favorite Western is Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood and Morgan Freeman and Gene Hackman. And I really love that music. It's a great movie. And I always wanted to write a song about like this time and this kind of character, like no choice kind of guy forced into the difficulties of that time with bounty hunting and war and railroad kind of building and Civil War kind of stuff, and
Red Dead Redemption. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, stuff like that. So exactly, like I wrote a song about that, and it was like from it included a lot of stuff like General Grant in building the railroad and the war, like South against North and all these things, so it was a very historical song, but it was way too historical to be released. But it's one of my favorite songs I've ever written, because it's a story about like this one kid that grew up with no chance with the abusive dad that had to turn out to be like a mean guy without even wanting to be mean, and so all he learned throughout his life was like, you get further, you survive if you're mean. So it's very challenging for me. It was very challenging for me to write that song, and I hope
now that you put it out there, everybody's gonna want it, right?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs till today. So I love the demo. And I listen to it every once in a while.
Very cool. Let's see. Harold says, do you play songs according to classical sheet music or with chord master or something similar?
In the New Roses, not. I've been, like I said, I learned to play the saxophone first, and I played in jazz bands for many years for like a couple of years before I joined my first rock band. So I was actually trained to read like regular note sheets, and I studied music later on in my life. I went to music university, and I have my degree in music, but it's something that you never use during songwriting. In a rock band, you never write down any chords or whatever. So sometimes you write down and put a little note, and you put a C or a D there, but you never actually write down the whole chords.
The actual boom, 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 boom.
You don't, not even, I never worked with tabs. So even if back in the day,
have you put out New Roses tabs for other people to work with?
I don't think so. What I did was I did a couple of like learn how to play videos, which I like more, where you just
that's
little, because when I started when I started playing in bands, there wasn't like, the internet was pretty new and it wasn't as established and well informed as it is now. So what I did, and people really like today, the kids, they ask me like, how could you do this back then? And I was like, yeah, just put on this record, and then I listened to it like 2,500 times, and then I knew how they played it. So that's how I learned to play, so I could play the solo of All Along the Watchtower or whatever before I even could imagine like which notes are used in the song. So I always played by ear and by like, how would I say, like logical thinking,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the way it is going to be. You're going to find that it is with a lot of modern bands, is that sheet music, they probably know how to read it, but most people are just saying, hey, does this sound good? Like, if this sounds good, this is what we'll do.
All that matters in the end.
So let's see. Jakob Berger has a question, but we've kind of covered it. What about your favorite part of the new album, which you already said?
Yeah.
He said, by the way, the first release songs are incredible. They love it. Cool. Miss Clements from Instagram says, oh, this one's going to be an interesting one. Do you think that rock and roll is an attitude, a vibe, etc., or is it simply a look, tattoos and piercings and ripped jeans? Can you be rock and roll simply by being confident in your own skin and in who you are as a person, even if you don't have the long hair, the ripped jeans, and the piercings?
So I would definitely say that's a matter of perspective and how people use that term, because that term is totally overused and misused in many ways. So every idiot uses it, to express that something is cool, and it has nothing to do with rock and roll. So I can only talk to myself the way I see it. So it's not that I believe this is the right answer and this is the only truth out there. And I know for a weird reason, it is very important to some people, and that they get really like unfriendly or very rude over this topic if they argue like what is rock and roll and what is not. So I'm just want to like underline here that this is my point of view, and every other point of view is totally fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for me, rock and roll music is the term rock and roll is really something that means, to a certain degree, I don't give a fuck, whatever it means. But on the other side, still caring a lot about other things. So to me, people that don't give a shit about anything, that are able to hurt other people or lie to other people and have no backbone whatsoever, they are not rock and roll to me, because rock and roll to me comes from the blues, comes from soul music. That's where rock and roll comes from. And blues comes from a place of hurt, of mistreatment, of broken heart. So the rock and roll always means like, I know how it feels to be hurt, and I don't want to hurt. I don't want anybody to feel the way I felt. That's the blues for me. And the soul is like, I'm very like aware of my feelings. So for me, rock and roll is wild. It is reckless in some certain aspects. So not caring how you should look.
And it kind of always has been, right? Isn't that what rock and roll?
Yeah.
When
So
it first started, everyone was edgy. Everyone was like, "Holy
hell!" So as you see, I'm not tattooed whatsoever. I'm not tattooed at all. It's nothing that I never. Maybe I get a tattoo someday. I just never thought about it yet. But I like tattoos, like generally. So it's nothing that I don't like or something. I just don't have any. And it's weird. Sometimes people ask you, like, oh, how could you be a singer in a real rock band if you don't have tattoos? And then I would answer is like, isn't rock and roll about like not doing what everybody else is doing? And if everybody else in rock and roll has tattoos, isn't not having a tattoo theoretically the most rock and roll thing you can possibly do? So I don't really, like I said, I don't want to argue about this, tattoos, not tattoos, and blah, blah, blah. For me, it's just like, if you have your inner compass.
Yeah, it's inside.
And you know, this is who I am, this is what I like, this is what I do, this is what I don't like. And you live that, and you say like, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And you can like whatever you're tolerant, and you say like, you can like what you like, and I like what I like. And because rock and roll, if we really want to take it seriously, it is a product of black and white music, and it's all about tolerance, and it's all about sharing, and it's all about give and take, and it's all about seeing the bigger thing here, and so that it is for me. So have certain values like loyalty, honesty, and so somebody that is not loyal and not honest, to me, could never be like a real rock and roll. He's just wild, maybe.
Yeah.
So rock and roll to me, it means like there's a friendly wildness. It's a friendly vibe. It's a friendly rebellious spirit. You can be rebellious, maybe you have to be rebellious. You have to be a straight thinker. You have to have your own thoughts, but you have to have your moral compass. For me, that means rock and roll to me. To be wild, to be free, to be rebellious in some ways, but still have a moral compass. That's what it means to me.
Makes sense to me completely.
Please, all you rock and roll dictionary friends out there, please don't blame me for anything. It's just
anybody that says anything different, like, you could totally argue it. Go back to the heart of rock and roll. Look at all of those people. They were all classy. They all still wore suits. They all still, you know what I mean? Like, at the very heart of it, at the very beginning, there was still class. There was, you might have been a little bit of a rebel. You might have been damn the man, power to the people. Yeah. I get that kind of music, but it's not, I think it's more of a personal thing. Hey, if you feel rock and roll, run with it. Like,
yeah. So I
be a decent human being always.
I would definitely say it's a mindset, it's a spirit kind of thing, it's an attitude, it's a lifestyle. So it's, for me, it has nothing to do with tattoos. A lot of course, there is a correlation between the two. Especially it comes from a time where having a tattoo was way more rebellious than it. So if you had one tattoo, you would be like a real outlaw. People knew you were in prison or something like that, or you've been to the ocean and in the Marine Corps or whatever, So it comes from there, So having a tattoo was a sign of being some
badass,
some badass, one way or the other. So that's where it comes from, and I would totally argue that that this is true. That there's a direct connection between the two things.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's changed over time.
Today is more like it can still be that badass kind of attitude, and it can still be an honest sign of your lifestyle. If you, like I said, I wouldn't say I will never get a tattoo. Maybe someday I have the right thing, the right mood, the right time, the right place, the right artist, and then I say that here it is. It expresses my way of whatever thinking, feeling, in a good way. So, and it would definitely be authentic then. But there's, to that authentic side, there's also a fashion side now where people just, get
everybody, even the non-badasses are getting tattoos.
Yeah. So it's just a beauty kind of thing. I wouldn't say it's wrong. Everyone can do it, but it might have lost a little bit of its
luster.
Or attitude nature.
Yeah, I think it's been diluted a little bit over time.
Yeah. It's a good way to say.
Let's see. Bazel 30 says, what's your recipe for surviving an intense tour, and how do you keep in good shape mentally and physically? Are you ever exhausted? I'm sure you are.
So the main thing is, of course, to discipline yourself, especially when you're having a good tour. So when you're playing good shows, and the first 3, 4, 5 shows are really great and everything goes great, you think you're invincible and you're unbreakable, and then you start going to bed a little later and maybe go to a bar after the show, and then you go have one more beer or maybe 2, and then you change 1 beer for whiskey, and and stuff like that, and you smoke a cigar or smoke a joint, you smoke a cigarette or whatever. Especially, I'm talking from a vocalist point of view now, yeah. So especially like the most critical thing is sleep. So you can survive pretty much everything if you get your sleep, you know.
So you still got to make your personal health a priority, and
It's
not fall down that very steep, slippery slope that a lot of people fall down.
if you have the approach that your last show is as good as the first one, there's no other way than as a vocalist to step back from the whole thing. There's no other way. So your body is your instrument. It's right there, you know. So if you go to a bar and they turn up the music just a notch, and you just don't have to talk like we talk now, you have to talk like this for maybe 45, 30 minutes.
Wear it out.
After your show, you will wake up the next day and you will feel that, you know. It's like running a marathon and then go into the gym and do some squats, you know.
Yeah.
So you don't do that. So you have to fucking learn how to discipline yourself, and especially on this tour now, where we go to the UK in next month, and we play 12 or 13 shows in a row. I've never done this before. Full shows every night, no days off. There won't be much drinking or partying or whatever, you know. I will try to shut the fuck up as much as I can and sleep, because sleep is, for this vocalist, is the only way to restring your guitar, you know. It's in,
yeah,
you put new strings on a guitar, but you can't just exchange the vocal cords. So there's only one way. You need to rest. You need to give them the opportunity to heal. And so that's the thing. And mentally, I would say it's not everybody can do this the way I do, because it would end in chaos. But I don't care what's next. So I never know when I know the first show is going to be in London. I have no idea what the second show is going to be, you know. And on the second day, I know exactly what the second day is about, and I don't know what the
in
third
a way
day
that kind of keeps it fresh too, though, in my mind. Like, okay, I don't want to know. Let's have the unexpected.
Yeah, I learned that. I learned that for me personally, there's different personalities, but for me, when I learned that during ultra running as well. So when I did my first ultra, and it was 65 kilometers over the mountains.
Holy shit!
And I and you get handed out those maps, small maps. You can put them in your vest. You can take them out, and you can see where you're at in the field, like where you're at on the track.
Mm-hmm.
And I was devastated. I was already, because it was my first ultra, I had no idea what it felt like. So after 35 or something kilometers, you know, I was like, oh my God, you know, how should I survive this fucking race? And I take out this card, and I would look and say, oh my God, it's still that and this and this and then and this, and the next aid station is still so far away, and there's this mountain waiting, and blah blah blah. We'll never do. So it was so intimidating. What's before you? What's still ahead? It kind of broke me down mentally, because you could always remind yourself how tough everything is going to be. Yeah. So after that, I never carried that map with me ever again. You know, I just keep running.
To run until it's over.
I don't count miles. If you can't go on, you stop. You know, so you don't think about like when is a good time to stop or whatever. You just don't care. You just put one foot after the other. Ride, run. Oh, there's an aid station. Now it's time to fucking drink something, you know? So I would never think about like, how do I do this and how long until this break and and I kind of transformed that into my tour life as well. Of course, like I said, not everybody has the luxury to do that, because somebody has to know the fucking plan. You know?
Yeah, somebody's got to know the plan, but it doesn't necessarily need to be me.
Exactly. If nobody else would do the job, I probably would do the job. But I learned for myself to not know everything and not care everything about everything is good for me in my way of dealing with stuff, because especially as a singer, if you get sick, if you have problems with the vocal cords, if you catch a little cold, it can be the end for everything.
Yeah, it could
You
be
know?
the whole end of a tour. Hell,
Yeah.
it could be.
And as a guitarist, it's a very important job to play guitar in a rock band, of course, but you can do the job way under way worse conditions.
Yeah,
You
it
can
doesn't matter if you have a voice or all. You can still play the guitar.
exactly. It doesn't matter if you have a voice at all. You can have a fever, you can have diarrhea or whatever. You can always kind of force yourself and
As long
torture
as you
yourself.
don't break your hand or arm, you can
Exactly.
pretty much do it.
Exactly. So, but if you have that responsibility for like maybe 3 months in a row, what we're trying to do here from October to December, if you have the whole spectrum of responsibilities, like nothing is allowed to go wrong for straight months in the whole like cold season, where everybody, and after show, everybody wants to hug you, everybody wants to have a picture, and everybody's like, gee, great show, and everybody. So you get paranoid, man, and you don't want that. So you kind of, I do this day-to-day thing, step-by-step thing, and it's like, this is your task for the day. You're going to be in London, you're going to play 90 minutes or 100 minutes on that show, in that stage, in that club, and after that, I'm going like, how far is the hotel? Oh, 3 hours. Okay. So now the next task is to drive for 3 hours.
And then rest.
And then rest for how long do I have? 6 hours. Okay. Let's rest for 6 hours. And then you wake up and say, what's next? What's the task? So this is how I do deal with those tours. It's not how I approach my whole life. Of course not.
Yeah.
So it's like those when it's going to be a long endurance marathon, whatever it is, if it's a real race or if it's a tour or if it's something that you think like it's too much for the brain or for the soul to process in one piece, I go to step-by-step mode and just do task by task.
Okay. We are down to our final user submitted question. Kendall Kitten 83 says, what's one question you've always wanted to be asked but haven't been asked?
This is a good one. It's not like, I don't see myself as important that I say like, hey, you should ask me. You should really ask me. I got something really smart to say about, whatever. So, and I've been in the game for 6 records now, and I usually give about 50 to 70 interviews per record. So it's a lot of questions, and it's a lot of different questions. But like I really have to say, I like those interviews that we did today, where you get into more like a dialogue, more like a conversation. When it's like a Q&A kind of vibe, and
I don't like formal interviews at all.
That's why I love the podcast era that we're in now, where you can really listen to interesting people and really with no time pressure listen to what they have to say, because usually when you read a magazine or something, it's super cool because you can take it and then you can read it, but it's very limited. It's like, tell me about the new record. And those interviews have this vibe that you can have to say, okay, 3 sentence, 4 sentence, this is the main thing, information A, B, C, D, and this is it, next question, please. And here you can, in formats like this, you can really evolve a thought while you're talking about it, and you can actually dive deeper into it. And it's not everybody's thing, like how long we've been, 1.5 hours maybe, it's not everybody's thing to listen to 90 minutes of contents to get maybe the information, like how long do they play, what's their biggest hit, and where are they playing next. For those there's other formats that are way better. But if you like to say, I would love to hear him just, what is his point of view, what is his lifestyle, what is his thoughts on rock and roll in general, I really love that. And there's no real like question where you could say, this is like, oh, I've never been asked that. Why has somebody asked me that? But I like the rock and roll question a lot. The like, what is rock and roll for you? Because it's a very big topic, and I've been confronted with it many times in my life, and I've seen really like tough arguments about this, like where people would go actually get angry with friends over this topic, and so it's exciting, and it was like overall it was a very nice chat.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
where are you actually? It looks like a museum, kind of rock museum
Oh,
or whatever.
I'm in my little backyard studio that I have here at the house.
Oh, it's
Just a bunch
amazing.
of collectibles and things that I have set up, or
Yeah,
cards from the
maybe can I?
subscribers, and
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah, do full screen mode. Okay. Wow. Okay. Nice.
things that have been collected over the years.
That's cool, man. Backstage passes and yeah,
Yeah, we
a
got
good old
some
hi-fi. Yeah. Wow. I
old
love it.
school.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here in my little recording
And he
studio.
has a horse. No, there's no horse. I thought he had a
No,
horse.
no. I wish I had one. That's why I take the horse as my ringtone. No, I only have guitars and a nice little backyard here. We can hang out and distract myself when I can't keep on writing. So yeah,
So
that's where you.
that was the end of our questions. But tell us about the new album. When's it coming out? What can we expect? When's the tour happening? Like, we're ready. The tour's in a couple of days, actually, isn't it?
The tour starts in exactly like 3 weeks, something. We go on. We start in. We do a couple of more festivals outside, and in September, and then October 16th, I guess, is our first show in London, and then we're going to be in England for almost 3 weeks. And then we come
Your
back.
very first show in London, like ever?
No. We've been there many times.
Oh, I was gonna say
That's the first
that's
show
just
of
where
the
you're starting. Okay,
Yeah, it's just
very
where the
cool.
tour starts. And we play, I don't know, like 12 or 13 shows. Then we come back and then we wash our clothes. On
We
very
finally
long
washed our clothes.
yeah. Then we go back on the road straight away I think we start in Netherlands and then we go to Belgium or whatever. And
You
then
guys
we
heard
start
it
in Germany.
on my Dutchies
Like
out
I said,
there. Coming
I
to the
don't try
Netherlands.
to, yeah, I'm not trying to know too much about it. But
Yeah.
the album will be out on October 4th, and it's going to be a sixth studio record,
Are
10 songs
pre-sales
on it.
going?
Pre-sales are going already, yeah, and you
We'll
can
leave a
already
link
order
down
all.
there in the description
Yeah, sure.
for sure.
And you can get the tickets for the tour already, and we're looking forward to it because we think that the record really kind of is bringing the tour the show that we're doing. It completes it. It kind of fills out little gaps that we still had, and so I always try to write songs that would fit into the live show without necessarily kicking another song out. So like, okay, now you wrote this song. It's exactly like this song that you played last year. So now you can't play this song again because you got to play this song now. So I always try to write songs that makes it hard to pick, but I always try to write new songs that don't necessarily have to be exchanged with another song.
Yeah.
So we're definitely looking forward for the tour, and it's always great to be out with new material. And we have great fans that are very loyal, and some of them seen us play more than 100 times live, and it's always good for them as well to see some new material. And
Yeah, very cool. Like, that's keeping it fresh, keeping it
yes, sir.
That's my thing. It's like if I go to a concert, I want it to be kind of a unique thing. I want to go
Yes.
and see the show differently for a different time, or see things that I might have missed the first show. But
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate you being here. The last question I have for you is, what's the best way, aside from pre-ordering the album, that people can help, that people can support you guys? Sharing the music around, or
like the old-fashioned way. Tell your friends, like, hey, have you heard
word of mouth, baby.
Yeah, just bring it to the gym, bring it to the whatever, bring it to the party, and say, like, shut the fuck up now. I'm going to be the DJ for the next 25 minutes and then just play the New Roses, and or give your friend a ticket for a show, you know, and say, hey, buddy, I already decided what we're doing on Saturday.
There you go. I need that friend. Where's that friend in my life?
Exactly. No, just listen to rock and roll music, and you know, whatever band you support, as long as it's a good band, man, you're helping the music, and you help the whole movement. So that's the most important thing.
Well, very, very cool. I appreciate you for your time. I know I didn't mean for it to go this long, but it was a very, very good conversation.
Yeah, exactly. So it didn't feel like 90 minutes at all. So no problem.
No, not at all to me either. We'll definitely. I'll try to touch base with you guys after this tour, then, and then we'll
anytime, sir.
That way we can get some tour stories.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I would definitely do that on a regular basis. So maybe we don't record it anymore, but we just hang out every once in a while.
Hey, we can do that too. I'm down. Totally. We can we'll do a damn joint reaction if you want to do a joint reaction. That way you can talk about your own song.
Yeah, sure, buddy. Let's do it.
All right, everybody. Well, if you enjoyed the interview, definitely get over and show the New Roses all the love in the world. A shout out to Timmy Ruff for being here with us. Hit the like button if you liked it, the dislike button, but I won't believe you. Tell the next one of Mildly Combustible. You guys be happy, healthy, safe. I love you to the moon and back. Peace.
Wow, thanks.